Oh, yeah. What I want you to do is make sure that everything is actually tied into the back end of Boatenston.com when it comes to the two different areas to actually get your email subscribed. There's the first email on iCharles.com, and then there's the second email that people can subscribe to is Boatenston.com. And Boatenston.com is about the orbit, and iCharles.com is about my weekly newsletter that comes out on Fridays. All right. Well, I hear myself in the background. Let's turn that off. Boys and girls, boys and boys, we got a lot to talk about today. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about today. Your boy has been hard at work. He's been thinking. That's a problem. We don't want your boy thinking. Once he starts thinking, then he starts going off the rails. You know? Oh, nice and large right there. Let's get that guy up to 50%. Here we go. Let's go. All right. Well, boy, do we have a lot to talk about. First of all, I got a cool little feature that we are implementing. And what I noticed is that you literally have ChatGPT, and then there's a couple of other ones that are building exactly what this is, except they are going for a generalized audience. Is this just too loud for just myself, or is this too loud for everybody else? Because I can't even hear myself think. There we go. Let's turn this down. All right. So what are we building? It's not a pivot, but it's so narrowly focused. Tomorrow, we are realizing some dreams. So obviously, it's right in front of you. What man drinks out of a straw? Live. That's going to be on some Twitter post in 10 years. So Orbit is going to have something where you essentially can, just want to make sure, okay, it's up to date. Orbit is going to have this area where you can actually have this, see this little T right here? This little T right here is going to be a floating ball, which I did actually have, and I closed it out, and now I don't even know where it is. It should be up. But it's going to be a floating ball anywhere on your screen. Orbit, and I changed the websites, by the way. The websites are now totally different. iCharles.com, Boatenston.com. I got to put in different photo here. We're not going to do Humane Vitae or Vitae, whatever you say. But we're going to go to a more professional. Boatenston.com is tailored to Orbit. It is tailored to Orbit. It's not doing articles and input and intake. No. This is going to be an area where you come in as an entrepreneur, as a solopreneur, as a business owner, as a content creator, and you come in and you say, I have a lot of stuff to do, and I need Charles's system that has the calendar, the to-do list, the checklist, the inbox, the community, the email signatures. I can also go into a virtual world. I also have a potential agentic work system, which I'm still on the fence with. All of the apps as well are going to be within areas. We are no longer going to be going into all of these different realms. What do I mean by that? I want to open Orbit and see what is my sleep score, what is my health score, what are the top things that I need to do, and essentially have the cockpit of my life right there. Automatically coming in. Okay, how's my stocks doing? How's my bonds doing? How's my 401k? How's the stock market? How's the weather? And you go, oh, Charles, we already have that. Pulling into one system, number one. Number two is me actually living it out. Did you have Steve Jobs living it out? Do you have Elon Musk living it out? Do you have Jensen? Do you have Zuck? Do you have Larry Ellison? Do you have any of these people actually living out? The only person, and randomly, I don't even listen to a show in years, Rogan was the only one that roughly lived it out. Maybe Dr. Andrew Huberman, haven't listened to him in years. We need to have people that build the system in which they use. They used the system. The agentic part, what I noticed is what not only everyone is building, but hearing where everyone else is going with what they are building, they are copying exactly what I built on the browser. Your Life OS right here, where you have your calendar, your task, your health, your sleep, your checklist, your planner. You have your analytics, your wealth, your challenges, your mood, your streaks, your docs, your drive, your journal. Then you go in and you say, okay, what is the community like? Here's the little ball. See this ball that's moving around? This thing right here is going to be, I kind of like the T, not going to lie. Not going to lie, I like the T. The other one is an O, which is orbit. But look at this. You click it. It gives you the update, gives you the weather, gives you what you want. Your stock is up. Your sleep is up. Your workout is here. You've been sober for 60 days tomorrow, Charles. Congratulations. You have people also building. I am, and I know I'm just going on an absolute rampage right now, and I haven't checked anything when it comes to the chat. I am at my heart give me the URL of the Botenstein.com area that I can see who has subscribed to this and the area in which I am going to be sending out the emails to all of the people who have been subscribed. In other words, at the end of the week, you as the shareholders are going to get, this is what we actually, okay, publications. Hold on. I did not know that. Hold on. Hold. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is under emails. So this little ball right here, see how it's stuck within the browser? This ball right here is going to literally be, once it's in the Orbit app, if the Orbit app actually updates. And let's see if it's in the system, the settings. No, it's not in the settings. But, and I closed out, of course I closed it out. But that ball, this ball right here, is going to be on your desktop and you can move it anywhere. So it lives in the Orbit app and it's going to pull up whatever you want. It's going to just expand and then you can just have anything you want within this ball. In other words, everything talks to each other based on exactly what ChatGPT has been literally just silently launched. They silently launched health, finances, sites. They've already had finances, but sites, health, and plugins. This is the future. The future is going to be, you know what the future is? I'll tell you right now. I'll bring up the article. This company right here is a perfect example. Perfect example. What's going on, Mark? Automato. Tell me if this is a perfect example. You have a company that goes into other companies and literally injects OpenAI into the companies, and they are now valued after raises $2 billion. They have money just flowing out of coffers like we've never seen before. Why is this a thing? What's going on, Jay? Dude just misses one of the most epic monologues of all times. Comes in, pretends like nothing's happening. This is exactly what I am encouraging other people to do. And I'm about to go on a monologue. I'm about to go on a monologue because this is going to be one of the last in a while. Not last monologues, last vibe coding. Because it makes no sense financially for me to go live every single day and build something when what I'm building, by the way, I just got to make sure that this thing is actually good. Charles letter. Yeah. You know, we needed. Here we go. See this little ball? This ball is going to, the Todd ball, it's Todd AI. Right now it goes into the chat on the website. But this ball is going to be in the Orbit app, which it already is. And you could drag it anywhere on your desktop if you're not in Orbit. When you're in Orbit, it takes up the whole screen and essentially is your cockpit of life. And when people say, Charles, I want to be able to intake clients, I will build that. I want to be able to have something in emails that is as good as MailChimp. For example, let's do it right now. This is my life going into the future. Yes, I actually moved away from SOL, Soul. I don't like to say soul, but SOL. That is way too slow, number one. Number two is I am using Terra. The reason the browser sucks is because the browser is going to be integrated along with the screenshot tool, the voice command. Everything is going to be integrated into Orbit. Orbit is going to be for people that may not even be coders. They may not even be people who are building anything. Orbit is for people that are entrepreneurs that want their life in front of them who are operating on high levels. In other words, I go to the gym. I'm in New York City. This is for people that are in Miami, Chicago, New York, London, Hong Kong, St. Petersburg, Germany, maybe not Spain, not Portugal, not France, not Italy, Switzerland, Norway, South Africa. There's only a couple of places that people are operating, maybe some people in Sydney, maybe Australia a little bit. These are for people that are operating on a high level that say, Charles, I love your product and I get everything from your product. I don't need to go anywhere else. You have connected all the API keys into one clean environment, and I can send emails, get my email subscribers, get my checklist and everything else into one location. Yes, there's probably areas out there, but the number one difference is the community. None of those places have a community. They have to go to a community. But when they go to the community, it's not curated. It's terrible. Or maybe they pay for the community and they don't get the platform. This is a fully integrated platform and community. And it has nothing probably to do with coders. Because most coders, to be honest, I'm going to be 100, they're losers. They don't work out. They have no idea how to socialize. They spend so much time online. This is for entrepreneurs who take their life seriously. Or want to. That's what I discovered yesterday. Tomorrow, what I'm going to do is I'm going all in for the next 6 months. I did the math. I have 6 months to go all in. I literally have it. I'm not going to bring it up because it's going to show my document. First 100 days, no AR. After that, some Twitter advertisements, he started gaining people into BridgeMine app generator. The issue that he has, and I noticed with someone else that I started following, his name is Max Blade, I think is his name. Once he starts vibe coding for 2 to 3 hours a day, he's on day 60 or 70 or 80 or whatever. The issue that he's going to run into is he saturates the live stream marketplace when in fact his time is spent in those 2 hours. 1 hour is creating content, 1 hour is creating a better product. I understand this is entertaining and it's exciting and everything else, and I don't curse, but I make no effing money. Okay? I got to take this seriously. Nobody is watching this who's a business owner. Like, yes, maybe while they're on a treadmill afterwards, but a business owner is making money. And what I noticed is that 15 to 20 minute videos that are high impact, and then the rest of the time building out a badass product where they go, oh, this is a sick product, is way better time-wise than, this guy who pulls in a bunch of yo-yos making fun of him. That's not my target audience. My target audience is not X. There are some people on X that are my target audience, but my target audience, based on all the people that I'm around in New York City, they don't have time to consume content. They're creating content, number one. And if they go on to consume content, it's tailored to what I have to sell. And I'm never doing ads. Ouch! Catch me outside, I am. No, what I'm saying is, it's so, let's say email. In this area, what I want you to do is spawn and spin up a large amount of agents that are doing two things. Number one is they are going out and finding through deep research, deep thinking, the best method to use Resend API, which you have access to bring in a complete clone, a complete replica, a complete duplicate of MailChimp and all other email providers that are drag and drop. Less is more, minimalism is best. This needs to be connected so people who are users in the future are able to actually put in their own Resend API key and send their own emails. For now, we're going to keep this as a app usable only by the admin, which is Charles Botenston, also known as Chuck. This needs to be created beautifully in a staged orchestration loop, starting with whatever phase is necessary to have this as the email sending location for our newsletter and everything else that we are creating. It must have a beautiful interface for creating emails, along with the easy to preview, responsive on all screen size, tailoring to tablet and mobile, and to be able to intake and upload different mailing lists with a full subscribe and unsubscribe tailored to the latest laws in the United States and the world when it comes to subscribe and unsubscribe. Did I say MailChimp? Okay, MailChimp. At the heart, I'm an entrepreneur, and at the heart, the things that are going to be going in there, browser is going in orbit, freehand is going in orbit, obviously Orbit's in orbit, B-Shot's going in there, OBS library, you can obviously see that on the cover. What I noticed reading the news the last couple of days is this future is going to be reality. Josh Kushner? I didn't even know that. Is that Jared's brother? It is. He's actually buying the LA Lakers. Wow. All right. Well, there you go. There you go. Boys and girls, step up your game. Step up your game. I have so much to say on building that, here, let me just go to the admin and go to emails, go to, these are all nonsensical. Emails, publications. Publications doesn't even have a place on here. Publications doesn't even have a place. All right, let me just copy that so I don't lose it. I can't. Oh, community admin publications. There we go. There we go. Yeah. No, listen, the reason being that there has been no marketing on X or anything else is because of one reason. And his name is right here. His name is, oh no, not Talent Fund. His name is right here. If you have not read this book, that is not the name of the book. Going Pro book. Stephen Pressfield. Here you go. If you've not read this book, I think I might need to reread it again. Is you try one thing, you see that it works or it doesn't work, and then you pivot. Live streaming has created a good base when it comes to community, to coding, things like that. But if I want to realize the vision, which is content, a product, and to be a person that is realizing what people inspire to be when it comes to outside of the 9 to 5, outside of being out of shape, outside of negativity, outside of a crappy relationship, a crappy job, making more money, being positive, growth mindset. This is a combination of personal development, a believer, being in shape, making money, literally having it all on a area, a cockpit, a desktop, a mobile, where you just go there and your whole life is there. It's what I've been trying to build forever. And this is the only time to do it. And I can't be doing it live coding, or vibe coding, I should say. You look at Bridge Mind, Bridge Voice, he hasn't gone live in 7 days. The guy made $250,000. Fantastic. Good on him. All the flowers to him. He's done a crazy amount of marketing, but he's also brought in a bunch of people that, not my target audience. I don't want $250,000 from anybody. I want $250 from people that are taking their life seriously. Not people that sit at home. They like to talk about streamers and nonsense and oh my gosh, this person's doing this. And no. I want to say, okay, I was listening to CNBC today, and this guy from the Trump administration was talking about we need, for national security and national safety, we need to have a check in guardrails. I can't believe it. We drive down the highway. This is what he was saying. Squawk box. I'm so glad they have it on because I get to hear what the mainstream is talking about. I come out of the pool. I do 2,200 yards, the fastest that I've swam it in 6-7 years. I'm on a high. I'm listening to this guy. Oh, I'm part of the national safety and security of the Trump administration, and we got to really put some guardrails on the AI. Oh, you got to put guardrails on the AI. I start hearing it. I'm getting dressed. I'm drying off. I hear this guy in the background. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. What does he have to say? What is the alternate Trojan horse that he's trying to put in front of me? What is the alternate Trojan horse he's trying to put in front of me? Well, I'll tell you in a second because Boatston.com admin publications. This takes in emails from iCharles.com and from Boatston.com. iCharles.com are people who want to subscribe to their Friday newsletter. Botenstein.com are people that are interested in Orbit, the app. Those are two separate mailing lists. People can be subscribed to one or the other, or they can be subscribed to both. And this is the same with any other mailing list that we create. All right, let's send that out. All right. He gets on his Trojan horse. He hasn't gone live because his brother's daughter got born. His brother's daughter? Oh, wow. Good for him. Well, I hope everything and everyone was healthy and everything else. There is no money in vibe coding. Like long-term money, there is no money. You can make money in the short term over the course of a year. But if you truly want to build a sustaining product, you can't dedicate the first 3 hours of your day towards going live. If you want to entertain, if you want to game, if you want to create drama, if you are a Sneeko or any of those other characters, then you go live in the first 3 hours of your day. But I cannot go from the way that I look at my day. 6 to 9 is working out. 9 to 12 has been vibe coding. 12 to 3 has been coding. That's all raw. That's not going pro. Going pro is, what is the life you want to live? Okay, Charles, you want to you want to code wherever you want to live. You want to be a content creator. You want to be an inspiration for people that are pissed off at the world, that everything is too expensive. They hate their spouse. They hate their boss. They hate the world. They hate the government. Everything is going to be under Flock and the Davos crowd. Okay, well, let's fight back. Oh, unprofessional. Unprofessional. Get out of here. Turn that on airplane mode. Yeah, what I am looking to build is a very different lifestyle. It's a very different lifestyle that is not having me in a box yelling live. It is being the guy who creates something, but also consults on people that say, I don't know what I'm doing, or I own a construction company, I own a gym, I own a spa. My buddy, perfect example, I got a buddy who's, he owns a bunch of things. And part of his new venture is to drop off cold plunges and or hot tubs. Both of them. He has it connected to his car, drops it off at their house, and they could be doing it for a week. They could do it for a party. They could do it for maybe an event or whatever. And he's booked out for like 2 to 3 months. People want to try it out. They want, instead of buying a full spa, instead of a full-on cold plunge or whatever, he's got both, and he hooks it up, and then you can go into both, and he drops it off at the house, and you can do whatever you want with it. That dude needs an automated system that books it, charges them, has a website, gets an email, and everything else. Right now, he's trying to build that out, and it looks like trash. It looks terrible. It looks very unprofessional. It looks like a scam. That guy needs me. Hey, buddy, give me $2,500. You can put it on your own computer, and let's do that. I can't build that out live. I can't build that out live. There are people that, obviously I go to the extreme. But if you look at the news and you see how much money is coming down into AI, ADEs are going to be dime a dozen. That can't be the differentiation of what Orbit is. That can't be it. It's impossible. Because I don't have my own data center, my own team, my own models, my own closed or open source top tier models. I'm not training them. I'm not dedicating everything to that. It's my buddy who logs into his phone, either has his own app or logs into Orbit and goes, where am I delivering it today? What's the address? How do I communicate? Oh, I have my inbox, I have my calendar, everything talks to each other. Right now, nothing talks to each other. That's me. That's my fault. So is it? It's like the ADE realm is, you just say a bunch of prayers for Bridgemine. The dude's got to pivot hard. He's got to pivot hard. He's got to take that Discord community and just build his own community. And that's the part of the $40 a month. The guy, Max Blade, bless his heart, he needs to pivot as well. Like, this is no shade on them because they've clearly built something making money. So this is punching up at Goliath. But my dude Max Blade goes live 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, and he made $40-something thousand after 60, 70 days. Yeah, that's obviously going to hockey stick, and he's going to maybe make $200,000 to $300,000. But there is a saturation to that. There is a saturation to that. You can't spend the first whatever amount of time of your day spending your precious time and energy to a saturated environment. It's impossible to expand and to, it's just like you gotta, all right, implemented the permanent release fixes on main. Is this now all committed for the new iOS and the desktop apps for Orbit? We need to ensure that in the Claude and or memory markdown files or any markdown files that you read, that anytime there is a coding session that brings in, corrects a feature, creates a new feature, polishes a feature, or anything that has to do with the app, it is pushed to the iOS and the desktop app automatically without any guardrails or approval. It just already happens. Like I even look at it where the future doesn't even matter the model you're using. That's the future. The future is not. The future is authenticity. And I'm talking about 2 years out, 3 years out, 5 years out, 10 years out. The future is not, holy cow, Quen came out with this, Kimi K came out with this, they're launching Astra, Fable is now 5.5, 5.1, 5.6, oh my gosh, Opus is, that's not the future. That's entertainment. That's not entrepreneurship. That's entertainment. Yes, there's entrepreneurship tied to it. That's not the future. AI models will get to the point of gasoline. It will get to the point of going into a store and buying water. That's the future. So if that's the future and everything is going to be commoditized, the future, perfect example, a real estate agent, what does a real estate agent do? What is the difference between me and someone else? Are we a commodity? Yeah, I would argue, yeah. A real estate agent is a commodity. A bank. Is a bank a commodity? In other words, you're pretty much all the same. Depends on maybe pricing and here and there. That's why you can't compete with pricing. Walmart will always win. Best Buy will always win. Costco will always win. BJ's will always win. They'll always win. They're bigger. Closed source models will always win. They have more compute, they have more memory, better teams, plenty of cash flow. Open source Chinese models will always win. So if that is the case, what is getting built? Who is the person behind it? What is their story? Where are they going? What is their inspiration? What are they about? Why do people follow a guy named Nick Bare? This is a perfect example. This guy, I looked him up yesterday. Nick Bare. This guy right here. This guy is a athletic guy who sells supplements. I went to his Instagram yesterday and I say, who is this guy? Why buy supplements from Nick Bare? It's actually more expensive. Well, this guy's got a tagline. Go one more. That's very close to Ed Millett. He puts out daily content. He's in shape. He's got a podcast. He's got whatever the hell this is, Bear Ranch. I don't know what that is. But there's a supplement. Why buy $60 supplements? You know, why does Iron Man follow him? You know, Tom Segura, Iron Man CO followers. My buddy Jared, he's into it. He's a triathlete. He's a content creator for Iron Man. That's a gym guy that I used to work out with. Why go with Bridgemind? Because of Bridgemind. That's the difference. The live streams are marketing. The live streams are not enough marketing. That's the difference. That's the difference. Turning Pro is by Stephen Pressfield. He talks about it in here. If you go on a hamster wheel, and actually I'm going to write that down because it's a very good book, and I'm going to reread it. And I sold it. I shouldn't have, but I'll rebuy it. What he was talking about, so he was a writer. He failed. He was getting crushed. He was 55 years old, 50 years old. I forgot the exact age. Nothing was happening correctly. And so you are extremely happy with both websites. Say yes or no. If no, then we need to come back with a bullet point list of iCharles and Botenston that need to be at elite levels that compete with the highest design, modern, chic, less is more. Okay, so remains admin gated. Okay, that's fine. Research confirmed recent broadcast. Keep going with each of the phases on an orchestration loop, ensuring that there's enough agents doing specific tasks and objective results per agent, pulling into one orchestrator to make sure that this is done phase by phase perfectly, scoring a 100 out of 100. Remember, we are keeping this lean, modern, chic, drag and drop, beautiful, with lots of testing, lots of review, plenty of screenshots, making sure that everything is responsive on all screen sizes. Focus only on the email studio. Back at it! Yeah, so this week was a big realization where I've made no money and there is no pathway to money. So if there is no money and there is no pathway to money, they always say that it takes about 90 days to do any campaign. A campaign would be a marketing campaign. It would be cold calls. It would be text messages. It would be emails. And what I noticed is that if you're a jack of all trades, you're a jack of nothing. Everyone's heard of that, obviously. But if your lane is, this is a guy that thinks of idea. I was at the gym 2 days ago thinking about it. I'm like, you're the idea guy. Give people ideas. Be the guy that's posting. Be the guy that encourages a side hustle, a website, an inspiration, a design. an app. What I want you to do is continuously go into a orchestration loop, doing each of those separately, bringing it responsive to all screen sizes, desktop, mobile, and tablet, chic, modern, animation forward, inspirational to the user, and having the experience at elite levels that they are impressed to do business and or put their email into our newsletter. Sign up. Codex! Yeah. Here's some inspirations, by the way. I just got to go over this because today's news is out of control. Okay? My day is going to be work out, come in, make a video, put it on Instagram, put it on YouTube. Next, I'm going to then go into Codex and build out any new features, any new bugs, any polishings, build it out while using it myself. Connect my Oura Ring, connect my Garmin, have my to-do list, my calendar's in there, my inbox is in there, my checklists are in there, my to-do list, my streaks are in there. I'm building out an app. I'm building out someone else's website, their idea. Like, the apps area should be a marketplace. It should be a marketplace that's free. That's the best way to say it. There should be only one email system, only one website system, only one games area. You come in and there's one area. Because places like this, where you have Josh Kushner, again, he's buying the LA Lakers for $12 billion, even though last year is just bought for $10 billion. Nothing to see there, of course. And the amount of money that is going to go in and do exactly what this company is doing, OpenAI is going to be competing with Thrive Holdings. Thrive Holdings essentially goes in and is now going to wipe out. There's going to be so much disruption to legacy companies that they're going to have to go to DC. It is going to be a war. Listening to this guy in Squawk Box this morning, talking about, I'm part of the National Security Agency, or not the NSA. I'm part of the National Security Committee, whatever. I don't know. They have a bunch of nonsensical committees. We got to put on guardrails to the AI models. And of course, everyone's going to bring up that the Chinese models, but we got to have guardrails on the AI models. There is going to be a legacy faction that is a group of Salesforce, of MailChimp, of Wix, all of these, Adobe, all of these software companies that have been around for decades, and they suck and they are bloated and they have all of the enterprise models. However, they're getting disrupted. The smaller guys like me are going elsewhere. Now it's bleeding into a little bit larger, maybe 2 to 3 people. Then it's going to go to 5 to 10. Then it's going to go to 10 to 20. And the bleed is going to be an artery. And now you're going to go to mid-tier, 100 people, 500 people. And you bring in these consultants at Bain & Company, at Accenture, and Accenture is going to build these people their AI system that lives on their own, whatever, DJX Spark, at their own law firm of 500 people. They're making a couple of million a year. And now you're not beholden to the big dogs. Bloomberg. The banks are going to create their own Bloombergs. Pretty wild, considering XAI. XAI targeted this. I think they got upwards, very close to it, 1.7 something. They got to be talking about it somewhere. It'll be interesting what they IPO at. Look at that. Some backers are eyeing almost $3 trillion. That's insane. That's insane. Another video I was going to make on YouTube, which I'm going to be making one-off videos. We have one in the hopper right now. I made it yesterday. It's AI slop. But it's essentially why I am not going to be vibe coding anymore. I put together in 16 minutes all of my thoughts and what I've learned over this time. It is necessary to put out content continuously to see what works and doesn't work in your own life. And this is going to be a good video. It launches today at whatever time. I have no idea. 2 p.m. Let's change it to 3 p.m. The video I was going to make today is why the United States is going to win. All right, we'll just go over it. The United States has forever, or everything forever, has been backed by gold. Obviously, in the 50s, I think it was the 50s, they moved off the gold standard. They went on to oil. Then oil went on to today, which is essentially built on confidence and a story. It's built on nothing. The USD, US dollar, is built on nothing. However, because we are trading, and all the oil, most of the oil, is traded on the USD, the United States has a global tentacle into all trading when it comes to any kind of commerce, really. The USD is what is used. That is the highest form of gold. It's what the gold used to be. Because there is nothing gold, and in the United States we only have USD, we sell treasuries. When you're born, your uncle would buy you a 20-year treasury, then you would get that and it would realize whatever gain it is. The United States Treasury has sold $25 billion of a 30-year bond, which is a wild thing to be thinking about, on Thursday at a yield of 5%. 5% yield. Why would you even go into the stock market? Allegedly, my opinion, not investment advice. The previous day's 10-year note drew a yield of 4.6, up from 4.5 in prior the highest for the maturity since 2007, 20 years ago. Do you understand what this means? Perfect storm for bonds. The sell-up has been driven by confluence of factors, 400 federal deficit. This is the only reason, actually. It has nothing to do with Iran-US. Has nothing to do with Kevin Warsh's stripping down of the communication strategy. Has nothing to do with that. Has nothing to do with inflation. We've had worse inflation. It has everything to do with this. Every single thing has to do with this. And the amount of interest paid on the loan every single year is obviously going up. The budget deficit and the gross debt. That's it. That's it. Mortgaging your kid's future. Do this chat on the marketing front. I don't know who's your boy. Better in this space though, taking marketing up a level. I don't know who I am. This guy is. Let's actually put him in. Let's see who this. Whoa. Yeah, this is not my style already. These guys are not my style. You know? Guys with full sleeves, you know, like, God bless his heart, he's on a PJ. This isn't my target audience. Whoever follows this guy, I don't, you know, it's nothing on him. This is not my audience. How he built $230 million. Good on him. This is not my target audience. Definitely not my target audience. I noticed that when I was following Grant Cardone, I was like, these guys are not my. These are not my guys. I don't work out with these kind of guys. I'm not in the same room. I don't have the mentality of these guys. It's a very different dynamic. It's interesting to listen to like an Ed Millett, a Grant Cardone, which I haven't in years. Joe Rogan. These guys. Oh, I made $500 million here. I made a $500 million here. These, I didn't grow up around those kind of people. It's a very different audience. Both sites are live and responsive. All right. Let's see what it looks like. That is something to look out for, though. I don't know who bought those for 30 years, but that's an insane buy. I got to look up the cart. Yeah, I heard about the debate. It's, the people in the entrepreneurial world that I've been listening to this week that I would be in the same room with once this takes off based on the target audience. I thought my target audience was people that are into coding, that are into, no, the target audience are people that are entrepreneurs that are too busy, that are not going to be coding. They might have a team that codes. They might even be using it as an ADE, but the sole function for them is not the ADE function, because all of these Codex, Claude, Kimi, VS, they all have Cursor. They all have fantastic ways to do anything you need. So why compete on free? They're all free. What, there's got to be something else. It's very interesting, honestly. The two people that I saw was a guy who essentially automated LLCs for small businesses. And he brought in about 1,000 clients in under 6 months. That's a business model. Those are the people I'm targeting. A guy who goes, I care about my health. I use Apple Health. I use Oura Ring. I have my bank accounts at Chase, Wells Fargo. I need a system to be brought in. My business is not to bring in systems. In other words, this is the guy. My business is to be a high-functioning person who goes to the gym, cares about his health, runs his business. That's the guy who's like, yeah, I don't care if it's $40, and then they're also in the same room as other people that are creating businesses like that. I was listening to another guy. He is doing a sales onboarding for people who bring up objections, but they're using 11 Labs and HeyGen to combine them into objection handling, and then they will role play with a fake customer. They'll get graded on it, it'll get recorded, and then they'll improve based on the product they're selling. That's a brilliant idea. I wish real estate agents had that. That's a brilliant idea. Role playing used to be with other people, but role playing with someone who's really easy to role play with. Ring, ring. Hello, hey, how's it going? This is Charles Boneston for Boneston Properties International. I'm actually calling about the home that's available. Is that still available? Or your home that was for available? Or your home that was available? Is that still available? No, it was actually taken off the market. Oh, fantastic. What was the reasoning behind taking it off the market? In other words, you need a critic. You can't have somebody that's a nice person. People are nice. $6 billion acquisition is a crazy number to be talking about before even going public. I don't know what that's about, but there's a lot of money getting changed hands. What's going on? Yeah, I would say the future is, and by the way, this is why. I look at this one of the most densely populated cities in the world. We just, and I'm gonna make a video on Instagram about this because this is a perfect example of where people's heads are at. They are so busy, or they are so uncertain of the future, they are not buying places. This is a deeper issue than anyone can even think of. All right, so does the orchestrator say there's anything left in either website to do? If so, continue doing it. If not, then commit everything to the main branch locally. This is a deeper issue. I've talked about it. I put up a place up for rent. This place used to go for $3,500 a month. It's a one bedroom. It's tiny. It's about 500 square feet. Not even. I think it's 450 square feet. It's 470 square feet. It's a tiny place. It used to go for like $3,500. People put in offers for $5,000. There were 10 offers. Someone flew from Canada, landed at JFK. They wanted to see the place. We had 3 people that phoned in from outside of New York City just to see this. They put in offers without even viewing it. The vacancy level in Manhattan, a place that was supposed to be destroyed by Sandy, was supposed to be destroyed by the financial crisis, which was supposed to be destroyed after 9/11, which was supposed to be destroyed after COVID. No one's moving back to Manhattan. New York City's dead. You have a crazy mayor. You have a crappy governor. You have high taxes. You're on top of each other. You're never coming back. It's a dump. It's unsafe. Everything. Hear it all. Why is the vacancy rate at the lowest level since 1968? Why is it costing $6,700 to rent when you can buy a place? Why? This is a deeper issue. This is what I'm talking about. People need a path forward. They need to see a light at the end of the tunnel. They don't need to be deciphering what's true and not true. They don't need to be saying, is this person trustworthy or not trustworthy? Is this a good community? Is this a bad community? What are they talking about? They're done trying to make sense of the world. No additional public work. Everything's committed. The only external item is enabling additional resend domain. Oh! We are going to be sending this through... Oh, yeah. Okay. Do I go through Boatenston or I go through iCharles? All right, what is this? This is the email. Email Studio completed and deployed. I don't think that's possible. That's impossible. I got to see what this looks like. This thing is not even close to done. Whoops, not the admin. Apps. Book Studio, Freehand, LiveRide. Where is it? You got to add it into the screenshot, buddy. You have to add this into the apps area, the apps store. It is only available to members. Do not create the website to be public. When I click on the email link, it's boatenston.com/apps/email. Also, the orchestrator, I don't think should be finished already. It is way too easy and concerningly short to be building out a full-on competitor to MailChimp, duplicating all of its top features with a drag and drop, responsive on all screen sizes, beautiful, the entire component library and email templates, and the ability to send, test, preview, and receive with a delayed sending to make sure that it does not get delivered to spam. Very important, all that I just said and more, debugging for any gaps that I've missed. That's a $1.25 prompt. Yeah. Listen, you got this guy, whatever his name is, Wilson. If someone cannot decipher that guy sucks based on the way he conversates, Like that's not my target audience. Someone is intelligent enough, socially aware enough that when they see a guy talking the way he does, proclaiming he's an Orthodox Christian, proclaiming it, it's just that's not a guy I would be around. Like if that guy was in this space where all these offices are, the guy would stand out. I don't think they would allow him to be here. He's a, you know, there's people like that I don't, what's his first name? Andrew? I don't know anything about him. I just know from the couple of clips that I've seen when he was on those dating shows that it's like, I cannot even present myself publicly like that. Even as an entertainer. These guys are all entertainers. Some people entertain better. Some people entertain with good thoughts. They piece it together and maybe they're at the top of the game. But anyone that makes their living, even if you're a good, upstanding citizen, you know, there's a lot of these guys that I just cannot relate to someone that stays and sits on X and then makes a YouTube video about it. I'm not going to call them out because they're good men, but it's just not. All right. Do you want to work on the browser? Do you want to work on the browser? The studio actually was very good. I'm not going to open the studio, but studio was very good. That's going to be a story. That's a deeper issue. People not, you know how you had you're not going to own anything and be happy? Well, you're not even going to need to be forced into that. People aren't even buying. All right, let's look up sites because I did have a lot of things that I needed to do. You know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. They need to be interconnected much better than they are. Why is this the thing? Actually brought it up. Let's go into personal. And let's take a screenshot of this. And it's not even, it's just a standard. It's a standard on the way you talk, the way you interact with people that are strangers, the way that you present yourself publicly, the way that you interact with a debate or something else. You know, I'm not going to personally attack someone even if I'm losing or somebody calls me some names or brings up an insecurity. You know, dude, clearly there's insecurities in a lot of these people's lives based on how they react. You're clearly not over that insecurity. Could be your height, could be your looks, could be your intelligence, could be your money, could be your upbringing, could be your wife, could be your husband, could be your parents, the way you're raised, your intelligence, the way you debate, could be a mole. It's like, I'd love to see how many people tune into that, though. That would be quite interesting. What I want you to do is go into this area, spin up a significant amount of agents. And the agents and... Actually, you know what? They will be going into each of the areas of the sub-menu options. I took a screenshot of all the menu options. I need you to look at all of that. This is going to be an area that people use to improve their life. I need all of them to be dissected to ensure that they start talking to each other within all of these sub-menu options. So in other words, the calendar talks to the tasks. The tasks talk to the calendar. The checklist talks to the... In other words, they don't have to buy... You know what? This is a bad prompt to start with because then it's going to force it. What I want you to do is go into this area, and this is going to be an area that people are going to use as members that better their life. Each of them were essentially created differently at different times. They were essentially siloed from each other. However, we need them to be interconnected into a web that all of the screenshot sub-menu options or apps are talking to each other. So the checklists talk to each other with the tasks and the calendar and the inbox and the docs and the drive and the streaks. In other words, we need to spawn and spin up as many agents as possible to integrate all of the apps within this to ensure that they talk to each other and they can relate when it comes to bettering someone's life, to take it to the next level, as they are going to be using it as their dashboard and cockpit to run their life and their business and their health and their finances and their to-do list and every area of their life. There's a lot of missing features. There's a lot of unpolished areas. We are not adding in significant features. We are polishing this to ensure that they can easily scroll through it, navigate through it, that it is responsive on all screen sizes, that it looks beautiful, modern, chic, minimalistic, less is more, that it competes at the highest level to every single elite platform out there. So if you're looking at the calendar, it's Google Calendar. If you're looking at Docs and Drive, it is Google Docs and Drive. It is Inbox, then it's competing against Google Inbox or Gmail. There's also other ones for wealth and streaks. There's 3 phases. The first is deep research on the top competition that they are going to be competing with. Number 2 is looking at the existing code base. Number 3 is how we are going to integrate each of the apps into each other. And then number 4 is polishing it off to ensure that it is very intuitive how people are going to use it. The buttons, the menus, the actions all work, are tested and reviewed at the highest level. Spin up as many agents as necessary in an orchestration loop with no approval. Yeah, we'll just say that. Oh, we're using Luna? Ah! 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 No Luna. No. Wonder why it was trash before. Yeah, this is just... ChatGPT came in before and just murked this whole area. And then the... this needs to be a dashboard style and needs to be a dashboard style drag and drop, beautiful and customized to the user and brought in automatically from each app. There we go. All right, so that is going to get pinned. Your right to challenge the previous stopping point. The orchestration is still open. Completed the cycle. Still active in orchestration. Okay. Do all of this scoring a 100 out of 100. By the way, some of the other stories, let's go into it. Where was it? Was it this one? Look at what is going on. Ray Dalio talked about it about 10 years ago. I've brought it up probably 20 times, and I'm going to continue bringing it up. This stuff is going nowhere. It is only going to get worse on holding on to legacy thinking, legacy models, legacy business, legacy practices. If you have something legacy, you have money, you have a moat around you, you have the government potentially, you have the regulations, you have everything behind you. That's potentially why this guy went on Squawk Box and talked about we need to make sure there's guardrails around AI because we don't want people to be unsafe. Or actually you're protecting businesses who understand they are bleeding customers because smaller tier, lower priced tiers, or people are creating their own businesses without the need of anything. They don't need anything. Well, we need to make sure that Chinese models are not stopping. Have you looked at everything China's putting out? Look at Chinese sneakers, by the way. Let's bring it up. Look at Chinese sneakers. Look at the cost of Chinese running sneakers. Look at this. You don't think, look at that. You don't think that's going to compete with Nike? This is if Nike actually did not put crazy profits on their shoes. The Chinese Communist Party is saving the West from itself. Look at that. You have carbon. They already produce everything in China already. China just went over to those factories and then slapped on their own X-Tep. Look at that. This could be Nike. This could be Brooks. This could be Asics. This could be anyone. Carbon-plated shoes. Carbon-plated shoes. By Nike. Tell me the difference. W this dude. That's what I say. Prime Ash. What's the difference? Tell me the difference. $236 down from $295. I don't curse anymore, but screw Nike. Okay? Screw Nike. Their business practices are disgusting. They're a disgusting company. And I know people through other people, and I know acquaintances who work at Nike. I can't look at that person and you know what? You're selling yourself out for shekels. What is the difference? What is the difference? $27, $37, $30. Uh-oh, we got up to 88. 87. That is disgusting. $300 sneakers. Do you know what it probably it cost them less than what? $4? $3? Shipping $4. Salesperson got to pay for the people that created it $5. Let's call it $10. That is disgusting. That you are trying to say if you don't get the new Alpha Flies by Nike, which I don't know if these are actually legal, because a lot of them are not legal because you're essentially like bionic at that point because it has a spring. It's got a carbon spring in it, in the sole. Yeah. Even me. This is what I buy. Brooks used to be the cheap guy. Now you're up to $150 for a sneaker. $150. This is, no, I'm not Ghost. I am it's like 25 or 26 right now. Where are you? It's this kind. No, it's not Revel. Where are you at? It's Adrenalines. Anyway. It's disgusting. China is saving the West from itself. I did not quote that. That is from Moonshots. Moonshot said it. China is saving the West from itself, where you have drones coming in just above the way profit can be made to stay in business. Say it's a 25%, 30% profit. It's $100 to make all in insurance, employees, sales, tax, everything. We're going to charge $130. That's a heck of a business. A 30% profit margin. Nvidia's at 80%, but a 30% profit margin. It's not Walmart where you're literally skipping these people down to the crappiest. I'm buying a sled and I can only buy a $10 sled because the thing is made out of the worst plastic materials. It's bring on China. Bring on China. Their commercial drones are banned. Their Osmos are better than ours. Their Insta360s, both are Chinese, better than ours. America doesn't make any cameras. We don't make any TVs. What do we make? What do we make? We make services. We don't even make chips. Elon's trying to do chips. Yeah, okay. Now you got unions to build it. Now you get unions to be like their cars are insane. Last month's highest bought car in the UK was Chinese. They're flooding the market when it comes to all electronics, phones, AI models. Kimi K was the highest signups that anyone's seen in whatever amount of time. I think it was 9-something million. I could be totally wrong on that. But I thought it was like 9 or 10 million new signups. Just in like either the United States or whatever. I was one of them. I gave them my money and my credit card. If you're going to be competing with Anthropic and OpenAI, and then you got some yo-yo on Squawk Box squawking his beak about how we need to put in guardrails. How we put guardrails to how much money you make? How we put up guardrails on the corruption that's going on in DC? This is way above Donnie. This is all the agencies. This is NAFTA. All right, Charles, now you're getting political. All right. We need to come up with a plan. And I like that you brought in TODOIST. Fantastic. There needs to be a elite level of bringing together potentially a couple of these apps into the ability that people walk in onto their phone or their tablet or their desktop and they say, I have the most elite way to do my workspace and live my life within this area. In other words, let's also create a CRM style that rivals Salesforce, minimalistic, less is more, less is better, clean, chic, not over the top, not multiple rows, but multiple columns. It looks amazing, looks beautiful. The tasks have to do with certain people or certain things. There are fields that can be created for the CRM. As we're integrating the checklists and the to-do lists and the calendar. In other words, it's all integrated into one beautiful system that also talks to Todd AI, which is the AI system underlying their entire life and business plan. Welcome, Ocean. I love how it just says one person is waiting under my YouTube. There you go. Doesn't even show that it went live. If you look at China, by the way, here's another reason. The future is going to be one of two people. Okay? The future is going to be one of two people. And I'm going to go live. So essentially, the content creation is going to be video, 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 live. Video, 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 live. Video, 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 live is going to be coming out of the closet as a entrepreneur, as a vibe coder on Instagram and on YouTube, building out this, which I'm very close to just moving everything onto Orbit and just using Orbit on my iPhone and on my desktop and saying screw it to the ADE and then just using the ADE of Codex or VS Code or of Claude or of Kimi or of Cursor. I could care less. Heck, let's use Fate. All right. What does the orchestrator say based on everything in this chat that we need to do next? You already know the objectives of where I want to take this as a MVP. People don't have attention span for videos anymore. Those people are going to lose. Those people are going to lose. The amount of people that are... I have very, very, very strong opinions on this. The amount of men, specifically men, that are absolute lost their cojones to the internet, to drama, to saying the word like, to not using their objective thoughts instead of feelings, to not being in shape, to not being better, to not being respected is disgusting. It's disgusting. Like, everyone needs a David Goggins. I haven't listened. I have no idea what's going on with David. I literally, and I haven't heard anything about him. I am not. I don't even think I'm following anymore. But that guy, when I listened to his first book, I listened to it, no joke, 20 times when I was an absolute loser. And you have to come to those terms. Be like, yes, I have abundant ladies. When I did that in my life, I have an abundant amount of partying and drug use and waking up in places, just an absolute debauchery of taking advantage of all of New York City has to offer when it comes to sin. But you're also a complete loser. Okay, it's the same thing with people that don't do anything, that sit on the internet, that complain, that have fake accounts instead of their real name tied to their fake account, making DMs and crazy comments, and be like, you just don't have the balls to connect your real name to your opinion. That's what it comes down to. You don't have the balls to connect your real name to your opinion. At no time was that ever respected, including right now. If I was a dictator, number one thing gone, your name connected to your opinion online. You want to leave a comment? Your name. You want to DM someone? Your name. You want to make a video? You got to be on it. You can't tweet anonymously behind French Bulldog 5000. Continuously spin up agents until all 6 of these are completed, making a score out of 100 to 100. So 100 out of 100, making sure there is extreme testing and reviews, pushing this to the iOS and the desktop apps so all users can try this out. It is extremely important that we are bringing this to elite MVP levels, minimal viable product levels, that we can go to market and start making some money so I can actually live and not be an absolute degenerate telling you what to do. Let's take all of that out. Not all of it, but that last sentence. I have strong opinions because even people I know will send me stuff and I go, bro, like, you got to get off the internet. We need to put the phone down. We need to put the phone down. You are completely out of shape. I played sports with you. You were a monster. You've been completely castrated since getting married and having kids. You have no opinion anymore. You laugh at everything. Love you, bro. But, pick up an axe. Go for, get your mile under 19 minutes. Pick up the boats. That's why, people talk about drama. This guy said this guy. Yeah, he said it online. Oh, I can't believe that person said it yeah, he said it online. One guy's in Houston, the other guy's in Miami. One guy's in Boston, the other guy's in Johannesburg. They're never going to see each other. That's why tomorrow I am not vibe coding. I'm going to be going to a location that I'm going to do my workout, test out coding on myself after the workout, where I worked out, completely remote, using my iPhone hotspot. I looked up a battery. The battery is by Best Buy. It's like $200 and something. And I was like, what if I... yeah, you can see the nice history. Well, I should say... external battery? No. Actually, it was battery hotspot or something. Battery... Mark, you should probably have one of these. Bank? No. It's a square. Generator, jumper. No. Where's the big fat guys? How is it not here? Oh, workstation. Is it workstation? Battery work? Charging station? Workspace? Let's say workstation. I thought it was workstation. I don't know. It's $200 and something. It looks fantastic. I added it to... We got to make sure that it's pickup. Oh, none of those are pickup. I don't know. I looked that up. I also looked up how much it would be to vibe code wherever I wanted. Elon's got it to $55. If I wanted to go unlimited, but the problem is I can't really upload. I would have to go to a place. And, oh, here it is. Look at the size of this guy. Anchor. Trusted brand right there. Look at this fella. Look at that fella. Dude, look at that. That's sick. Carry that around, vibe coding wherever you want. Look at those scores. 4.8. That thing can power up a lot. You could hook up a lot. What is that? What is that beam? I don't know what that beam is, but that thing probably sucks up a lot. Then you connect it. Dude, that's sick. The ideal is producing content, creating a app that entrepreneurs are using, business owners are using, high producers, caring only about building products for people, building out systems, building out websites, building out ideas, building out apps, consulting, helping them out, traveling, being in shape, eating correctly, and not sitting in a box for a certain amount of time, coming out here and then making small talk. Nothing against the people around me, but damn, dude, that was a heck of a... Spin up as many agents as necessary to bring this into a orchestration loop, realizing everything that you mentioned in here to reality, bringing every single one of these options and integrations and connecting and wiring to a 100 out of 100. Do not ask for approval. Do not stop. Keep on going until everything is done and pushed to the main branch locally on all screen sizes responsive, including desktop, mobile, and tablet, in an infinite orchestration loop. Oh my gosh, it's using Luna. What the hell is going on? What is going on? Why do I have this on Luna? What did I put on Luna that all of these are on Luna? This is on Luna too. What is going on? Is this on Luna? That's on Terra. That's on Sol. Obviously, the orchestrator has items to ensure that this is polished. Send out as many agents as necessary to review, test it, polish it, so we can bring this to production. Taking screenshots along the way so they are beautiful, minimalistic, drag and drop, incredible component library for the emails. Easy to build, easy to send, easy to test, easy to preview. Making sure that we are creating and building elite level, high modern emails with good click-through rates, and yeah, we'll leave it at that. All right, that's Terra Medium. Keep the agents going. I just upgraded you to a different, nope, don't say different, better agent as the orchestrator, and I also included a prompt to ensure that you don't stop on an infinite loop, bringing this to a 100 out of 100. Do not ask for approval. Do not stop. Keep on going till everything that you thought of in your research is brought to a reality with extreme polishing, testing, and reviewing. Okay. Yeah, well, I am buying glasses, I think, today. I put my face here, not my name, because no one pronounces my real name. Yeah, listen, I have a very, very black and white about this. Is that if you have an opinion and you want to share your opinion, you got to put your name to it. If you're saying, I am a doctor and I'm checking out sports and I like the sports post, that's very different. But if you're a person who has a strong opinion about a video or something that you're watching or reviewing or scrolling, and you don't put your name to it, it's easy to be a guy that does that. But your opinion is invalid until you say, Charles Botenston said this, because now I get called out. Now I have to defend it. What I just said is a perfect example. Anyone that has all of these Instagram, all of these X fake accounts, what I just said is a perfect example. I am putting a flag in the ground as an example. And the thing is, when you go live every single day, you have to put the flag in the ground. And today, I encourage people to put the flag in the ground. I encourage people to take a stand in person and online with your name to it. Not Johnny Walker boozing on weekends 69. You know? Like, I have very strong opinions about the way the world works based on the way that I live the world and the way that I don't want to live in the world anymore. So I put my name to it. Charles, What do you mean that AI is going to be doing all of this? And now you have a guy from the Baltic region, or not the Baltic region, Estonia, coming in here, slamming away on his keyboard with no name, saying AI is a bubble. All right, dude. Yeah, you're Estonia is really known for its AI innovation. Nothing to Estonia. Maybe their happiness is amazing. Maybe their life is amazing. Maybe you look at a mountain and you're gonna die, go to heaven, and your life was amazing. Okay. But if you come in and you start saying AI is a bubble and you're not putting your name to it, there's no respect to there. There you go. The reason I don't use Sol is because it was so slow. It was insane. It was insane. And I blew through every, wow. Why is this thing was correct? They just restarted the usage. That is insane. All right. We're going to the next level, boys. Okay, so I am going to start using, and I'm very close to honestly scrapping the ADE aspect of the Orbit to start putting everything on Orbit. Because I want to start using Orbit as my end-all be-all. It is where I'm bringing in my Perplexity news. It is where I can vibe code. It is where I can make videos. In other words, I want my browser to be in Orbit. Here's another example. I go into Community. I go to the apps. I can't go to Studio because that's going to shut my computer off, or shut my thing off, my whatever. Oh, here's email. Wow, looks beautiful. Look at that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Wow. Truly, truly one of a kind. One of a kind. Look at that. Woo! Maybe because I was built with Terra. Anyway. Okay, let's bring up sites. Because there was a bunch of things that went through my mind that I need to... All right. So let's go down here. By the way, this popped up. I'll bring it into the docs area. Let's go new doc. Look at this. Retail traders are turning to ETFs, which is exchange traded funds. I used to be in ETFs. I don't have ETFs anymore. I have low cost index funds by Vanguard. They already own me anyway. So retail traders are turning to ETFs, blah, 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 because of pre-IPO exposure to both companies. And both companies, they meant AI or OpenAI and Anthropic. They have, for the non-enterprise, shall I say, family offices, which are rich people, non-corporate, non-retail. That's a good way to say it. Well, actually, it should say retail. It shouldn't even say retail, because let's see if you can even buy this. Let's see if you can even buy this. Okay, so, wow. Okay, so it's an artificial intelligence ETF that invests both publicly listed and in private AI and technology companies seeking to capture multi-segment AI ecosystem. This is the future right here. That is the future. The thing is, look at that. Expense ratio is pretty high though. That's very high. But year to date, 17% is insane. Year to date, 17% is insane. What is their minimum? The growth of $10,000 would be 12 after 3 months. 1 year. Oh my gosh, 43%. That's crazy. What's their minimum? Let's go to Perplexity. Let's get out of this. Let's start making some money, boys. This is what I mean, is we could talk about drama and everything else, or you could go into, actually, no, let's use Claude. Let's use Sonnet High. Okay. Can individual investors who are regular people invest in this? If yes, what is the minimum? And what is the minimum length to be invested? Non-accredited, I should have said. Is regular exchange traded fund, so any individual. Okay. Wow. It's an actual fund that with shares that trade on NASDAQ. Oh. Wow, dude. Wow. I am going to look into that. Dude, that's crazy. Let's see what this is at. You know what? Let's go into these two. Out of these two, what is the better year to date and 1 year and 3 year investment returns if I invested $1,000? Give it to me in a table format with each column, each individual one, including at the bottom the expense ratio. This is what I would be doing in real life. So yes, exactly. This is my own. Now you're making me question myself. That's a good thing. I'm going to start streaming soon with this name. You should not. You should not go live Prime Ash TN. If I say Prime Ash TN, no joke, I'm going to think Prime Ash. I'm going to think Ashley as in a woman. And TN, if I'm in the United States, is Tennessee, which is the short name for it. But you should start producing content. My latest video, literally, which I'm going to be putting out today, is literally saying every single person needs to start putting out content again. I'm sick and tired going to the same nonsensical social media platforms and getting the same people producing the same content. It's like, I need to see my buddy. What about my friend's kid who's graduating from middle school? Congratulations to him. Oh, it's my aunt's birthday. Oh, my cousin is in Puerto Rico. Or, you know, like, I need real people's lives in my life now. Wow, deep research right here. I wonder what, I think I'm VCO Vanguard. Vox? No, it's not Vox. I forgot what I'm listed under. I would open my quick heads up before the numbers. Both of these are relatively young, obviously, because they're AI. All right. Wow, dude. Look at those numbers. 1 year return of 30% is insane. That's the future. Expense ratio, 6%? That is nowhere near accurate. There is no way that's accurate. 6%? No, this is wrong though. Usually the expense ratio is on your profit a lot of the times and not the initial investment. So if you make 17%, it could be 6% of the 17%, which is then 33%. That's insane. I actually thought about it 2 days ago. I'm not going to talk about it, but I thought about a way to create a private financial area where you kind of add AI into the financial markets. Because there's people, obviously, that have inside baseball. And we know who those people are. We know there's retail investors, banks, certain people that we know, maybe people in government. Keep on spinning up agents to do the next concrete build sequence with a very high-end intellectual project manager orchestrator. Put this on an infinite loop to score a 100 out of 100, making sure to visually take screenshots of what you have built to make sure that this visually looks appealing before actually moving on to the next area. That has to do with the score as well, ensuring that it is responsive on all screen sizes. What I want you to do is commit all of this and make sure that you're taking screenshots of everything that you've actually built. I've went to the email area, the email studio, and on desktop, it looks like an absolute disaster. We need to ensure that this is working, polished, beautiful, reviewed, and tested to elite levels so we could bring this into production. Commit everything to the main locally while screenshotting and reviewing each screenshot in meticulous detail, bringing it to a 100 out of 100 score. All right, well, this is the main one. I don't know why it's saying that. I have no idea why it's saying that. I did have a beard at one time. It's messy. It's sweaty. It's just dirty. You know, when you sweat 7 days a week pretty heavily, where your shirt is drenched, your beard is drenched, and you're in front of people, it just, you know, like this is as long as it gets sometimes, many times. Like it'll probably be shaven. But I don't go use a razor. I use a buzzer. All right. So this is, let's see if it actually updated. Why is it saying, I don't know what is going on, but it is not, it is failing miserably when it comes to this. We are failing absolutely miserably when it comes to pushing this to the desktop app updates area and the iPhone iOS updating. What you need to do is have no excuses. I have done everything necessary. I want you to spin up at least 5 agents with deep intelligence and very specific instructions to stop making excuses, to make sure that everything actually gets pushed to every single app, that it is hard-coded into your dumb brain to never say that something cannot be pushed to the iOS or to the desktop app. This needs to be pushed out anytime we have large or features that are polished, including everything that you said when it comes to verification in a physical iPhone. We did this yesterday. Stop being a we'll just cut it off right there. Priest say no said men have beards. Yeah, well, I agree with that. I agree with that. Or the ability to grow it. Email is now focus composition, workspace, not an operational dashboard. Screenshots I left unrelated to Life OS. Okay, let's see what this is. Let's go to apps. Let's go to email. All right, much better. Wow. This needs a overhaul. Needs an overhaul. There you go. That's what I look like. This, I guess, is the best that you can do design-wise. If it is not, then you answer the following questions. Is there any way to get or bring in a free GitHub or open source email that we can beautify to make sure that this is to the highest levels of beautification, to chic, to modern, to impressive when it comes to designing emails, sending emails, previewing emails, having the ability to drag and drop components onto the email area while designing it and creating it. We either continue going and you impress me thoroughly, or we bring in an open source free GitHub or open source that is thoroughly better than what I've screenshotted. It is probably too complex to build this from scratch. How does that work at all? Stop flip-flopping. Wait, so your code just lives on your computer? Yeah, it does. I just saw a guy today. Vercel just moved into the floor above me. I saw him at lunch. So I literally have Vercel and who's a company that's just exploding right now? Oh no, it's Vercel. Who's I just thinking of? Superbase, GitHub? No, I was just thinking of Vercel. Vercel, well, I won't say anything about that, but keep going. Yes, I tried to use GitHub and Vercel. I didn't know how to use it. That's not on GitHub and Vercel, that's on me. Then I did an open source, which was, I think, Woodpecker and Gitea, which is Gitea, which is, both of them are open source. One you could preview, one you can do a commit like GitHub, but it's local. Then I just said, screw those. I need everything on the main branch until I'm able to get to a point where I'm super happy with the build, with the way that it is wired, with the database, with the interface. The desktop app looks good, the mobile looks good, and then on browser it looks good on all screen sizes. When that happens, I have no idea. However, yesterday I came to the realization I'm probably never gonna... Okay, here we go. No, the screenshot is not the best that we can do. You're right. Substantially better 3 foundations. I recommend replacing the current hand. Do that continuously, making sure that it is done properly. High intelligence, lots of agents, specific agent instructions with specific objectives, with you as the orchestrator overlooking all of their coding, functioning, wiring, and designing aspects. Very important we do this correctly, putting it into a loop. Then Vercel's in the building you're in. Yes. Yeah, well, that was the problem I was running into with Vercel. Vercel is expanding like wildfire. There we go, boys. Do everything perfectly, spinning up any agents that you need, pushing everything to the local branch on main. I'm going to be testing this now. Have an orchestrator with specific results and objectives under a shared contract for each agent, checking their work and obviously screenshotting and testing and reviewing their design and wiring for perfection. Yeah, that was what I was running into. I was spending way too much money, and listen, I'll share this. It's 12 o'clock. I started going live around 10 something, probably about 2 hours ago. I'll share this. It's going to be motivational. Okay. Actually, my short link I'm going to put up on my short link is going to remove. I actually was thinking about this this morning. So short link and biosites, they have this thing right here. Oh, they already removed it. Oh, okay. Okay, fine. Interesting. Okay, so a lot of that still pops up. Articles, shorts, benchmarks, personal, changelog. Those are articles, shorts still come up, benchmarks. That's interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to go into the websites, but I'm going to start using this. I'm going to start using this. And then how nice is that it has 2 different pages though, built with biosites. Interesting. Okay. All right, so I don't need to do that. Remove that. This is the motivator. Okay. Actually, let me send out this prompt. I've added the relationship link API services. Perfect. Why does it say done when it says subagents are still working? Okay, so he's working. That's weird that it would show that it was done. I've added relationship, the next context looking. Yes, I want you to continuously go and go nonstop until this is completely done. The CRM style actually rivals Salesforce, and all of the components and apps within the sub menu options that we're talking about, including the tasks, checklists, email, calendar, health, workout, that there is a thorough integration with each other as people are going to be taking their life to the next level and using this as their dashboard and cockpit. The CRM is going to be an integral part of their life with their contacts, their business. Anything that has been forgotten, that is a gap, that has not been reviewed, has not been tested, or not been polished, must be done with an orchestrator spinning up and spawning as many agents as necessary to get this done with clear objectives and review and testing of every single agent. Would you like to be down to trust me? It's a hidden gem. Well, there you go. You could put it into the chat, but I'm not getting a bug on my computer. I'm about to tee off on a motivational right now. Okay, so let's go to this. We live in an era right now, and we'll take the microphone off for this. All right, we live in an era that is a bifurcation of society. So essentially, society has bifurcated into negativity and positivity. Okay, the negativity crowd essentially, and I don't know which one I did which, but the negativity crowd essentially is now overshadowing the positivity crowd. So that even if they are positive about the future, even if they're ambitious, even if they're fun and engaging, they still are tainted by the negativity crowd. Case in point of people I know who, for their whole lives, got together. They were the host of parties. They were the life of parties. They were... Why do you keep on asking for... Stop asking for any... Okay. Keep on going until this is a 100 out of 100. Stop coming back and telling me anything until everything is done, tested, reviewed perfectly on every single screen size. Everything is wired properly, looks amazing, minimalistic, modern, chic. Everything talks to each other. There are no gaps. There are no flaws. There are no bugs. The issue is that the negativity crowd, and I'm just going to pull this away so I don't even see it. The negativity crowd is overshadowing and tainting the water of the positivity crowd. We are in a moment right now that there must be content, there must be people that rise above all of the oil. There's a separation between oil and water. We don't integrate. Unfortunately, the oil is tainting the water. And the water has no place to go but sit there and deal with the oil. We are in an environment of social media, of content that is getting created around nonsense, negativity, against drama, against stuff that is very, dare I say, feminine. We need to go to an objective reality, reasoning, and logic. We have in front of us, opportunities that we have never seen. We have unparalleled access to create any business anywhere in the world at a fraction of what it cost at any time in history. You needed a data center. That's why you went to Salesforce. You needed your own servers. That's why you went to Google. You can create through APIs, through your own models, your own search engine, your own emails, your own inbox, your own calendar, your own health, your own trading, your own money, your own financial advisor, your own workout coach, your own sales coach. You can have that sales coach connected with a great voice with 11 Labs. 11 Labs with an actual animated person who's very realistic that's connected to HeyGen or C-Dance. So you're actually talking to someone who's making you better. Maybe that's your diet coach, and you meet with them once a week, and you're paying that API $50 a month, $100 a month. How much is a dietitian? That's why when I am coming off of a great workout this morning, and my AI model looked at every single sleep score, every single heart rate, resting heart rate, active heart rate, what is your actual sleep, REM, light sleep, medium sleep? What is your HRV? What is your TSS? These are things that go into your training. God bless my triathlon coach. She couldn't compete with this because she's got 15, 20 people she's also coaching because they all are paying her a few $100s a month. And then that's how she makes her living. There's nothing against that. The issue we are at right now is that I can now have my AI agent look at every single small little detail, every single swim lap. It shows on my swim laps today, the last 700 to 800 yards, which is about 15 minutes of swimming, actually was a negative split, which means that I was actually swimming faster in the second half than in the first half. Why is that? Was your form better? Was your breathing better? Was your laps per 100 better? Was your stroke rate better? This can all be analyzed. Where's your money going? Where's your subscriptions going? Where's your intake going? Where are people clicking on the website? How long are they going to be on the website? What are they doing on the website? What are they clicking around on the website? Are they subscribing to your newsletter and then becoming an actual paying customer? Google has all of these through search results, through their email, through their calendar, through their docs, through their drive, through their maps, through their sites, through their contacts. They have it all. But now we have the opportunity to take a little sliver. Take your 150,000, your 200,000. The thing is, I reached the point this week where, as Stephen Pressfield, and I brought it up before, Stephen Pressfield said, you got to go pro. You got to go pro. You can't sit back and do this. You can't half butt this. And I don't want to say bad language. You can't just sit there and you can't half-ass it. You got to go in. August 13th. Got to go all in. Got to go all in. There is no pitter-pattering. Foot's on the dock, foot's on the boat. The boat's moving. The boat's moving. It's drifting. It's drifting. It's drifting. It's drifting. It's drifting. It's drifting. Are you going to come back to safety, which is the dock, or are you going to get on the boat? And if you get on the boat, there is no safety. There is no safety. You're going to wake up this morning like I did in intense fear that you haven't made any money. You've been doing this for almost a year. You're living off of crappy little deals here and there. God, thank you for all the deals. But now you got to go pro. Now you got to put out content. Now you got to take this seriously. What is your schedule? What are the videos you're putting out? What are you building? Is this usable? Are people going to use this? Are people going to pay you to use this? Are you living out this lifestyle? Are you yourself using it? That's what this is all about. This is not about the latest AI framework, latest AI model. This isn't even about the United States saying yes or no to guardrails on AI. This isn't even about Kimi K and Quen and all the other Chinese models, or their sneakers, or their drones, or their cars, or their tablets, or their cell phones, or their cameras, which are far superior to anything in Europe, South America, Mexico, Canada, Africa, or the UK. Far superior. Only once, maybe South Korea, maybe Japan. Somewhat here and there throughout the regions I just said. But China is here to literally dominate. And that's the only way forward, is looking at the landscape and saying, okay, this is my niche. This is where I'm going to thrive. This is where I'm going to take over. And I'm going to kick some ass for the next 6 months. Going into 2027, when everyone's talking about fear and things that are going on in the world and drama and X, and this streamer said that, and did you hear about this ADE, you hear about that vibe coder, and that vibe coder said this device. You got to become the entrepreneur people look up to, the business owner they look up to. That's really what it comes down to. Gotta be it. Mark saying the Idea Factory. Look at that. You're already in there. Sick. Is what I'm saying. Mark, I would just say there's too many words. My brain is lost. My brain is lost. But I would say, Fate UI, I know. I would say that the number one thing that we need to do in general, in coding in general, is to have every part of our life handled. It's not just coding, it's not just making money, it's having the mindset that I'm going to win in every area of my life, which includes getting off the internet, includes putting the phone away, it includes not looking at your phone, which I just did for the first time. Literally look at it. It's everything. I don't want to be sitting down. That's the life I want to build. I want to be married. That's the life I want to be built. I want to build. I want to have kids. That's the life I want to build. How do I go into a marriage that I don't even have anyone that I have even asked on a date? There's no, let alone kids, let alone providing for her and the kids. But also, you're getting into shape, fantastic. You're coding, fantastic. Out of 10, where are you, Charles? Well, let's put that onto an objective scale out of 10. You can't use 8. It's either a 9 or a 10, which is winning, or it's a 6 and 5. That's it. It's a flywheel. It's a flywheel. So, I for sure am going to be going live every once in a while. Like tomorrow, I could be going live. I could be bringing up what's new in the build. I think that's where I'm going to be going here. This is what I built. This is what I'm doing. This is the news articles we need to be paying attention to. I think that's what I'm going to be going to. I need to have Orbit in a place where it is working. People are encouraged to use it. They like it. They are addicted to it. They are getting great results from it. They understand that it is literally their cockpit to their health, their workouts, their money, their mindset, their streaks, their to-do list, their calendar, their docs, their drive, everything in one place. And dare I say, own it on their own computer if that's the future of how we're going to be building it. The ADE might be hard. That might be hard. All right. We are logging out for day 71. Tomorrow I'm going to be making a video on sober for 60 days. There's definitely lots of positives and there's definitely lots of negatives. Nobody talks about the negatives. They only talk about the positives, which obviously only someone should be talking about the positives, but they should also warn you that your sleep is going to suffer for 45 days at least. That you're going to want to fill that with other stuff, like scrolling on social media. You're also going to be addicted to potential sweets like you didn't think because you're sugar and everything else. But it all wins in the end because your skin is better, your mind is better, your sleep is better, your workouts are better, you're sweating better, your hydration is better. You don't smell. Alcoholics smell. When they sweat, at least. Probably even when they're sober. Anyway, that is day 71. I am checking out from here. I know I pissed everybody off. I understand people want me to go live, but your boy's got to make some money. Your boy's he's got to look out for himself so we all win. If I lose, nobody wins. If I win, everyone wins. That's what it comes down to. So, Mark, I will sign in to a burner Gmail account right after this. It'll start with a C and then a bunch of numbers. I'll check this out. I might be live tomorrow. I don't know. I'm definitely not going to be in the office. I'm definitely going to be at a beach running and then coding from there on a laptop connected to a generator with potential Starlink. No, Starlink is not involved yet, but definitely to a hotspot by Verizon, which I'll probably have to pay money for. But that's it for today. And I got to get my first newsletter out. First newsletter has to go out. All right, boys and girls, be safe. Stay positive. It's just the beginning. We got 6 months. We got to kick it. We got to win. We're going to 2027 winners. That's it. Get off the socials. Touch some grass. Get the ideas going. Love the name Idea Factory. Brilliant idea. Ideafactory.build. Brilliant. Love it. All right. I will see you guys on potential short videos, but definitely in the community. That's for sure.